wait. Oh, we're live. Okay. All right.
Oh,
What's up? This is not gonna be uh, a formal intro like people are used to, cause you got a incompetent leading the ship today. But it's WrestleDream. It's the 1 year anniversary of the death of Antonio Inoki, one of the greatest dreamers that's ever lived. So yeah, it's time for the WrestleDream prediction show. We got a great card today. We're gonna break this down quick so we can get into the show. The pre-show starts at 6:30. Um, but yeah, it should be a good show. Very excited for this one. The cards sounds great, and hey, there could be a lot of big surprises tonight.
well, I mean, he has been teasing it's a new era for a couple weeks now, so I would kind of be
Yep,
disappointed if there wasn't at least one.
yep. So, all right. So first off, we're gonna get into
Wait, you're
this.
not even going to introduce us? Jesus Christ, Christian.
Yeah, I'm Christian. That's Mike. Uh,
Yes, I love it.
we have nicknames. You can find that out if you watch the Wednesday show. Um, okay, so just getting the card up here. But we're gonna discuss this show. We're gonna do the post show after as well. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
Jesus
A lot of
Christ, 14
storyline.
matches.
14 matches deep, and first off, we're gonna speak about the 0 hour matchups. So the first match we're gonna just talk about the ones that don't really have much of a story, and you can just give a quick prediction because they're not really mean anything. First off, we have a mixed 8-man tag match between Mercedes Martinez, Diamante, Shane Taylor, and Lee Moriarty versus Keith Lee, Satoshi Kojima, Billy Starks, and Athena. I'm going with the baby faces on this one, I'm pretty sure Athena's a babyface now. So like Athena, Billy, Kojima.
When the hell did that happen?
She's been doing this angle with Billy Starks, where Billy Starks is like her minion or Ring of Honor, and basically become so entertaining, like the Tony Storm stuff, and like not how like they're heels, but like they're baby faces by proxy. So yeah, I'm going
Gotcha.
with the team of Kojima, Keith Lee, Athena, and Billy Starks.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Yep. So that one you don't really. There's not really much of a story there besides Shane Taylor trying to recruit Keith Lee into the Shane Taylor promotions.
Yeah,
Next
that
up,
match was just like thrown there.
they do have history. So that's probably gonna be a Ring of Honor match soon. But next up for the 0 hour, we have Luchasaurus versus Nick Wayne, and this one actually has a story because they're both involved with the presumed main event of this show. But yeah, I'm gonna go here with Luchasaurus. Because I think Nick Wayne will get a lot of offense, but I don't think he'll be able to come out with the win here just quite yet. So I'm gonna go with Luchasaurus.
I will too, and this is kind of a part one of two, which we will get back to later.
Yeah. So, uh, and now we have two more on the 0 hour. Two more actually very exciting matches. The one with which was announced last night because of his history with Antonio Inoki and him having been trained by him a little bit back when he was in Japan. But we have Claudio Castagnoli versus Josh Barnett. If you've heard, some may know Josh Barnett from his MMA and UFC career, his time in Japan and Pancrase. Um, he trained Shayna Baszler. He trains a lot of MMA fighters. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport and GCW. So yeah, very very excited for this one. This is just going to be a big hoss fight of two guys who are very influenced by Japanese professional wrestling and Antonio Inoki. So yeah, I'm actually very excited for this one. I'm gonna go with Claudio here since he just lost the Ring of Honor World Championship and Josh Barnett isn't a signed talent. But yeah, this is actually a very very cool match.
Yeah, not signed talent. That was going to be my reasoning.
Yep.
So, Claudio.
Okay. So and then the final 0 hour match, we have a AEW World Trios Championship match between the acclaimed Anthony Bowens Max Caster and Daddy as Billy Gunn versus TMDK from New Japan, which is Zack Sabre Jr.'s faction, and that's going to be represented by Shane Haste, Mikey Nichols, and Bad Dude Tito. Very excited for
Christian,
this
give
one.
me a beat. No.
Give me a what?
I'm referencing Collision or
Oh
Rampage,
yeah,
whatever it was.
yeah,
Give me a beat. No.
yeah. So, if people don't know who TMDK are, they are Zack Sabre Jr.'s faction in New Japan. Mostly Australian, but not really anymore since Zack's an Englishman leading it, and Bad Dutino is an American, and they do have a Japanese member in Kosei Fujita, who is a young lion who just went on excursion. They also are their tag team is Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. They had a run in NXT. If you remember Slapjack from that shitty Retribution angle, that was Shane Haste in WWE. Bad Dude Tito. It used to be Jonah's faction, which is now Bronson Reed in WWE. But yeah, Robbie Eagles is also part of the faction. But yeah, it's a cool faction. So yeah, we have Bad Dude Tito and Mikey Nichols and the hysterical Shane Haste, which is literally his name. That's his nickname in New Japan. He's announced as the hysterical Shane Haste. But yeah, I'm gonna go with. This is pretty obvious. I'm gonna go with the Acclaimed here. They're not losing the trio title this soon to Team DK, but I'm just glad to see Team DK on the card. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, this was the literal easiest match on the card to call.
Yeah. So anyway, now getting to the main card. Not going in like order of like what we think of is gonna be the match order, but first off,
Whatever's first on your screen.
yeah. So first off, we have the grudge match between Ricky Starks and Wheeler Yuta, which when this was added to the card, I wasn't expecting it because it just seems like a collision or a dynamite match. But I'm very glad it did. It's a non-commercial match where these two guys could go out there and have a prove it match, which they've already had a bunch of them in their career. But very excited for this one. This is going to be a show stealing type of matchup. I'm going with Ricky here because I mean I don't really think Ricky's going to take a loss after he just lost that feud to Bryan Danielson. But yeah, this should be very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ricky here too. Simply put, Wheeler does not need to win this match. Ricky kinda does. So, yeah.
So next up, we have a number one contenders match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. It's a fatal four way between Orange Cassidy and Hook, the Guns, the Lucha Bros, and the Young Bucks. This one is actually one of the harder ones to call. They can get a
Yeah.
and it's the distinction for the match is with the winner gets an AEW Tag Team title match at any time. So I don't know if that means just any show or if that's like a Money in the Bank cash in type of deal, where hey, if FTR has a match, say for example, if the Guns win, they say hey, we want our match now, and they just pick them off and get the titles back. So that's something to think about for this match. But I think it is a harder one to call because I don't think it's going to be the Young Bucks because the Bucks already just had their Wembley match with FTR in their little feud. Lucha Bros is doing their own thing right now with Phoenix in the international title, even though I would very much like to see that match again with FTR. Guns still haven't got their rematch, I believe, with FTR since they took the titles off them. I think they might have. So I'm not too clear on that, but they are the
I don't
obvious.
remember.
They're the only obvious heel team in this match, and we have Hook and Orange Cassidy, which is a makeshift tag team that FTR hasn't worked together with before. So, but however, Orange did pick up the victory for that team in the Fatal Four Way on Dynamite. So it's a little a bit of a harder one to call.
I'm gonna go with the Guns because, like you just said, I don't recall them getting their rematch. If they did, we're sorry. Young Bucks just had the match at Wembley against them. They're out. Lucha Bros, I think, with Phoenix getting the title, although I wouldn't complete that. They're probably my backup option because when was the last time Phoenix and Penta were challenging for the titles? It's been a little bit, right?
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, so I'm not going to completely rule them out. And Orange Cassidy and Hook, as much as I would love to see it, Orange Cassidy got the win on, was it Collision or Dynamite? I'm shot at this point.
It was Dynamite.
On Dynamite. So that kind of steered me away from picking them. So I'll go Guns. and I would not be surprised if the Lucha Bros win this.
Oh, that's what I'm remembering. All right, so the Guns did get their rematch, but it was on a house show. So for
Yeah, it
that
doesn't
me
count.
yeah for yeah so for me, I'm gonna go with the Guns. I think they're the most obvious team to win here since they're the obvious heel team. Um, maybe there's some chicanery that happens with whoever attacked Jay White, and if they take out the Guns, that could be a telltale sign. But we're gonna talk more about that later. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Guns here. Next up,
And yeah, this also is harder to call because the actual tag match could go either way, but we'll get to that.
yeah, next up we have the TBS title match between Julia Hart and Chris Statlander. This has been actually a very well built feud between these two. Julia Hart has improved a lot. I think she's pretty great. She's deserving of this opportunity. It's her first title match on a paper. It's her first pay per view match, singles match, not counting battle royals and stuff like that. But yeah, I think this should be a great match. I mean, everybody who's in the ring with Statlander is elevated, and she usually has great matches. I mean, she gave Britt Baker a great match on Collision. She gave Jade Cargill probably her best match in her AEW career on her way out, and I expect that to be the same with Julia here. But I do see Statlander retaining. I think this is just one of those feuds that just gives Statlander somebody to beat. This is the type of opponents because it helps Julia, but it also gives Statlander somebody to beat just quickly. So
Yeah, and this wouldn't be the first time where one of the women in the division has come into a title match on a pretty long winning streak or pretty lengthy undefeated streak. That happened with Statlander when Britt Baker was the champion.
yep.
Or was it Sheeta?
What when Britt lost?
No. When Statlander went on that streak before she lost at the pay-per-view, who was champion, Sheeta or Britt?
I think it was Britt.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just basically going to switch roles this time just for,
Yeah.
the other title.
So next up, we have the Ring of Honor. Well, actually, no, we don't. We actually have, because they have it listed off wrong here. It's actually just for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. The Ring of Honor Championship is not on the line. But we have Eddie Kingston versus Katsuyori Shibata. This should be the Kings Road showcase. The Kings Road style showcase. This should be a Japanese wrestling strong style type of match here between these two.
Wait, when did they change that?
What do you mean?
I could have sworn it was for both.
It was.
Titles.
It's not. It's not. It's not. It was just for the strong one.
I could have sworn
They didn't. They didn't. They
TV
didn't. They didn't change it. The thing I have up here, has it different.
Okay.
Yeah, they never changed it. The only reason I remember is because when Shibata came out against Kingston, Excalibur made it a point to say it's just for the strong title. So this should be a very, very hard hitting match between these two. This is the type of match you're going to see out of Kingston. I expect him to wrestle a lot more guys from New Japan because he has to do both Ring of Honor, Strong, and AEW. But he just got both titles. I do think, and I don't know what the relationship is between New Japan and Shibata right now since he's not technically with them anymore. So I'm going with Kingston. He just won the double belts. They want to use Kingston for Strong. So I'm going with Eddie Kingston here.
You took all my reasons. Thank you.
Yep.
Eddie.
So Eddie.
Who does Zach have for all these people?
Oh yeah. So, just going to Zach's predictions for the ones we've already talked about. Right now he has Athena, Keith Lee, Satoshi Kojima, and Billy Starks, Claudio Castagnoli, Nick Wayne, The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, Ricky Starks, The Guns, and Eddie Kingston, and Julia Hart. He has Julia Hart on that one, which is curious. But anyway, next up we have the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship handicap match for now, which I do think was probably going to stand after Collision. But it's the team of the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch versus the team of Better Than You, Bebe, with just the Better Than You. with MJF, which because Adam Cole is hurt, he needs surgery. He's gonna be hurt. Yes, there's conversations of maybe Roddy subs in for him, but after Collision saying the fucking the Kingdom going they can't bear to be without Roddy. So they had to take their luggage to the ring, and they wanted Adam Cole to meet him at Roddy's house. So I expected vignette of the boys at Roddy's house. So it's gonna be MJF 2-on-1 against the Righteous, and I don't see the Righteous winning because I think MJF's gonna keep it until Adam Cole's ready to come back or something else happens. Because those titles I do think are going to go to the Kingdom when it's all said and done. So I'm going with MJF against the Righteous here. There's one thing I did want to mention that pertains to the attack on Jay White that happened at the end of Dynamite. If at some point in this show there's a backstage segment or it happens in the match where the Righteous get attacked by whoever attacked Jay White, I think that clears the Bullet Club War Dogs and David Finlay and his crew from being the attackers, because they would have no dog in that fight attacking the Righteous after attacking Jay White. Like if they attack the Guns, then we're gonna be cooking with grease. And
if they attack MJF also, I wouldn't rule them out because he's directly in a feud with Jay White right now. So that can't be ruled out.
That can't be ruled out. But if they just attack the Righteous, then I don't think it'll be the War Dogs.
Watch they do that just to swerve us.
They could do that, something like that, but the characters of the War Dogs, I'm not saying they're stupid or they're not smart. It's just they're fucking savages. They're going in the crowd on their entrances, making women and children stand up, taking their chairs and throwing them across the room just to be a pricks. So they're a lot more set. So that's Finlay's thing. He wanted savages and killers. He didn't want calculated villains who plot their moves. He wants savages. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go, but if the Righteous does get attacked, then we're gonna be having more conversations about that. But yeah, MJF.
If a wrestler ever came through the crowd during an entrance and made me stand up and threw my chair, that would pop me so hard. I would just die laughing.
Yeah.
Now I want that to happen to me one time.
Yeah. Anyway, for that match, Zach has MJF. So, yep.
Clean sweep.
Yep. Next up, we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship match between FTR and Aussie Open. 365 days to the day, 1 year to the date of their last meeting at New Japan Royal Quest last year in an excellent match. They had a great match there. But yeah, I can't wait to see this match. Aussie Open versus FTR. The first match was incredible. They went about like 35 minutes. And I expect another show-stealing match here. And a lot of me...
This is one of the hard... Like, this isn't as easy of a match to call as it looks.
Yeah. Like, a lot of me wants Aussie Open to win, because I always said Aussie Open should be the ones to take the titles off FTR. They've had a long run. I'm not saying that I want them to take the title off them because it's long. It's because they make sense. The only teams that I really see that make sense for them to take the titles off FTR is Aussie Open, Jay and Juice, and another team that has history with Dax and Cash, but I don't know how he's going to be presented if he comes in. And with that being said, I don't know. I doubt he's going to come in as a heel, but maybe Edge and Christian. And because if you didn't know, the people who got Edge ready for his return to WWE was FTR. And they're good friends with Edge. So I doubt it. The Fatal 4-Way, with me picking the Guns, if the Guns, wherever this is matched up, wherever this is placed on the card, you could probably see how it might go. If the Guns win, I think FTR probably takes it. If anybody else wins, like say if the Lucha Bros win, I think Aussie Open it opens it up for Aussie Open, no pun intended. And if it was up to me, I'd put the belts on Aussie Open. If it was up to me, but I don't think they will, and I'm going with FTR.
I like you got to think about it this way. When was the UBS show? April?
Yeah.
We're in October.
Mm-hmm.
So just from, calendar 6 months, even though it's been like 5.5, if that, it's not out of.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but the one question I kept coming back to is who the hell do FTR go through or go to from here? Because they've beaten pretty much everybody in the last 5.5 months.
I mean, they could always feud with like Ricky and Big Bill. I mean, because they did that on Collision a little bit. They could do something like that. They could try to go for the Ring of Honor tag titles, but because they do have history with MJF, they could do stuff where if Edge comes in, they do FT Edge versus Christian Luchasaurus and some other fucking schmuck. So I don't know, but I'm picking FTR just because I think it's the safe option, even though I do want Aussie Open to win.
And I do. Okay, can we both do an audible here? Depending on whether or not this match is before or after the other one?
What do you think this is?
Is that allowed?
What do you think this is? Some sort of cop-out shit? You get one prediction, guy.
One prediction. All right. You know what? I'm going to just
either get it or you don't.
Different.
This is a 50-50 game we're playing here.
Just to be different. And you know damn well over the last couple of months, FTR has been laying hard we're the best tag team.
Oh.
A year ago today, they called Aussie Open arguably the best tag team. I'm saying that they're laying it on a little too hard.
Yeah.
I will go I will pull away from the pack here and I will go Aussie Open.
And I would not be sad about that at all. It's actually what I want to happen. All right, so next up we have probably one of the matches I'm most excited for. We have the trios match between the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay versus the team of Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Chris Jericho. And I believe they're going to be called the Golden Jets, which Jericho did end up trademarking it.
When doesn't Jericho trademark something?
He's smart. If I was a wrestler, you trademark.
No, he is.
Yeah, you trademark everything.
Yeah.
So this one is actually extremely hard to call for me, just because I don't know where I'm going with this. Also, with Zach, by the way, that match he had FTR as well. I don't know where to go with because there's so many turns this story could take regarding who wins and just the members of each team. And if more people get involved, because I could see another member joining tonight, like for a swerve, like not thinking it being like, oh, we already just got Sammy, we can get another one. And they've been teasing Daniel Garcia joining with them. Like they've been teasing stuff with Callis calling him money and stuff like that. And I could see a thing where Garcia comes out and costs Jericho the win. And now he has two guys, two Judases, that he has to deal with. And basically, the Golden Lovers and Jericho have to find another person to help. So I could see that happening, but I could also see the babyfaces winning because they lost at Wembley. And Kenny has been on a losing streak since he lost Callis. singles wise, and he just hasn't won a match since he lost Callis. And I don't know if you want to beat Kenny that long. I mean, he doesn't have to take the pin. But this one is actually really hard to call, and I don't know where it's going. But I am gonna go with the Don Callis family since it's Sammy's first time in there. They do have Osprey, and the only person that I can see taking a pinfall is Sammy, but he just joined, and I don't know if they want to do that yet, unless it's under some sort of nefarious means, or there's some sort of miscommunication with Will Ospreay and Sammy Guevara, because he said you're gonna have to apologize to me after hitting me with a bat at Wembley. So I am gonna go with the Don Callis family here. But yeah, I think this could swing either way.
I am too, and I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Kenny takes the pin.
I could see that.
It's either gonna be him or Jericho, but I think it would make more sense for it to be Kenny because they basically flat out said it. We don't him and Jericho. They don't like each other. We're only working together because we have a common enemy.
The only other thing I could see here too for the babyfaces winning if Kenny ends up pinning Ospreay, and that's what gets him his match at the Tokyo Dome.
I didn't even think about that.
Which is why I'm pretty sure that match didn't happen at Wembley. Is that New Japan wants it in the Tokyo Dome again, and that's gonna be the Wrestle Kingdom main event. So actually, it wouldn't be the main event because they would have to rob Naito again, and that can't happen. But yeah, if that happened, I could see
honestly,
that.
I wouldn't be mad either.
Yeah, listen, you can't be mad with any of the talent in this match. So yeah, it could go either way for me. But I'm gonna go with the Don Callis family because they could always get to. I mean, Osprey Omega sells itself, so it's not like they have to set it up. They can announce it tomorrow and be like, yeah, no one really gives a shit about if there's a build or not. So I'm going with the Callis family.
And plus, they can always get a rekindled Omega Jericho match or rivalry out of this. So
yep. And who are you going with?
Don Callis family.
And Zach will also be going with the Don Callis family. Next up,
am I? If I lose this because I pick Aussie Open, I'm gonna be so mad.
Next up, we have we have the grudge match here, which is one of my most anticipated matches on the card. We have Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page, and this is one of the most built matches on the card. This is the biggest built match one of the biggest built matches on the card. Basically a triple main event here. They closed the show out with this on Wednesday. They're really selling this. I believe this is Swerve's first big singles match on the pay-per-view. Because he's always been in tags or in a battle royal, and I'm very glad because I love Swerve and I think he's going to be a world champion in this company one day.
Hope so.
But I'm very, very excited for this one. It is going to be a warped crowd because they are in Seattle. Seattle is the hometown of Swerve Strickland, and I think it's going to be very, very, very. The crowd's going to be with them on this one, and I'm very excited for it. And I am going with Swerve to take the victory here. I think this issue is far from over. I think this is going to bleed into at least Full Gear and maybe even make it to Winter is Coming, or that Quake at the Lake show. But yeah, I'm going with Swerve here to take the victory. I think there's a lot more coming out of this feud, and yeah, I think he should win in his first big singles match.
I could see that because they did just give Hangman and the Bucks the trios titles.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go Swerve too.
Yep.
Basically just going back to what Hangman said, if you had the opportunities, like you would be champion by now. And I mean, Swerve, he needs to win.
Yep.
He's one of the few people on this card where if he loses this match, I'm just like, where the fuck are they going from here?
Well, see, that's the thing about this too. If he loses, that's like I could actually I feel like there's a strong case if he loses that because since it's not going to be finished, that he's going to get even more violent and even more out of his mind because that's what he's kind of been doing right now. And making the others' lives living hell, because I do think the Young Bucks will probably get involved, like how they already were. Like I can see him having matches with Nick and Matt, um, uh, regardless of what that is, because if the Bucks don't win tonight, they don't really have much, unless they shoot an angle tonight. But I think there's a claim if Swerve does lose here, that it's actually maybe a better thing for him because he might end up winning the feud in general. But I do think he's gonna win here. I do think it's probably the better and more obvious way they should go. Sometimes the obvious way to go is the right way to go, and I think the right way to go is to have Swerve take the win in his hometown. Hangman's gonna be out of his element. He's gonna be out of his. He's gonna be in front of a hometown crowd of Swerve, and yeah, I'm gonna go with Swerve here, and Zach did go with Swerve as well.
I'm very, very tempted to go Hangman right now because of what you just said. Of it would send Swerve even further off the deep end, and that would probably make a lot more sense. God damn. I'm having like a lot harder of a time with this one than FTR Aussie Open. Can I come back to this?
Yeah. So next up in our other two main events, which we don't know what's we have a positive about what's main eventing this show, but it could be either of these matches. They could switch on the fly, but we're gonna talk about this one first. But we have the dream match between Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. This match we were supposed to get at Forbidden Door #1, but obviously Bryan got hurt, and that's when Claudio debuted. But we were supposed to get this, and we've been waiting for this one a long time. The Bryan Danielson Award for the Wrestling Observer has been won by Bryan Danielson 10 times. It has been won by Zack, I believe, 6 or 7. And these are the two best technical wrestlers in the world. You're going to see a technical wrestling fucking masterclass, a clinic of technical wrestling. You're going to see guys getting stretched. You're going to see guys getting twisted into pretzels, strong strikes, holes that you've never even seen before, and probably a finish that you probably don't even see coming. Because if you get in a wrong hold, you're tapping. That's how a lot of Zack's matches end. And I'm very excited for this one. I've been waiting for this match forever. I've been wanting this match forever. I never thought this match was possible years ago. I have my fucking Zack fucking Tekkas, Blimey Tekkas, Vegan Tekkas tonight. So I'm very, very excited for this one.
I got Bryan Danielson.
I do have Bryan Danielson as well, since he beat Okada with a broken arm. But I do think there's a case for Zack, because like I could see Bryan being like one of like to pass the torch, be like, hey, let me put Zack over. But I do think Bryan's gonna win here. But I mean, Zack is gonna he's gonna shine in this match. I mean, he's one of the best. And it's this is gonna be such a treat, and I can't wait to see him and Zack duke it out. But yeah, I do think it's gonna be Bryan. I do hope they wrestle one more time, like somewhere, maybe in New Japan, and Zack ends up taking the victory there. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bryan, and Zack has Bryan as well. And next up, we have our presumed main event, which they have said in promo packages and on the countdown, for the TNT Championship in his hometown. We have Darby Allin versus Christian Cage. So I have to keep reminding myself that Christian Cage is actually the TNT champion, for real this time. But yeah, we have him and Darby presumably main eventing in a 2 out of 3 falls match. So this should be very good. Christian Cage's second pay-per-view main event, which is really cool. But this one I do think is harder to call, because there is a X factor in this match. Obviously, there's the Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, and even AR Fox type of relationships that are probably get involved here. Christian Cage asked for him to bring Nick Wayne's mom and his entire family, so there's that. And there's the most obvious one that everyone's talking about. We have potentially, most likely, the debut of Adam Copeland, aka Edge, into AEW today.
You think you're familiar with me?
Yeah. Which about that song, apparently WWE does not have the rights to that song, so he could use that song, or he could use his old Rob Zombie theme. Um, but yeah, this one is very, very hard for me because Christian just won the title. He just got the title, even though it doesn't feel like it. But they're in
Yeah.
Darby's hometown. But it's 2 out of 3 falls. He can get a visual pin on Christian, and have Christian could still win the match by nefarious means. This is Darby's first ever main event. And obviously there's the Edge thing. Does Edge get involved during the match, or does Edge get involved after the match? If he even shows up. Is he going to be a babyface? Is he going to be heel? We don't know. So that's
a tough one.
This is the one that's tough one. I am going to go with Christian Cage simply because he just won the title. He just won the title. If Darby wins, he'd be a 3-time champ, I believe. And I think there's more to go with this. So you could eventually do Christian versus Darby again later down the line. If Edge comes in as a heel, they could do Edge and Christian against Sting and Darby, or Darby and Nick Wayne. They could do Edge, Christian, Luchasaurus against Sting, Darby, and Nick Wayne. They have a lot of possibilities if they have Edge go heel, but there's also have a lot of possibilities to do Edge versus Christian like that. I do think it's probably better to bring him in as a heel just to have more opportunity, but that's where I'm going with this. I'm going with Christian.
You know, the last time Darby had a big match in Seattle, he won the TNT Championship. But I also, like you, cannot get past the fact that he just won the title. But at the same time, if Darby wins, could that finally spark Luchasaurus to turn on Christian?
That's a thing too. Just quickly, we got a comment.
And then maybe...
Oh, we got a comment in the Twitch chat. Because the only way Danielson is losing this match is either he gets pinned or passes out. He won't tap. Which, I will say this. Zack barely does pin attempts. He has a Zack Driver finish. That's the only time he'll pin somebody. And that's really a strong match. People don't really pass out to Zack all that often. They usually tap. But the thing is here, I get what he's saying there. But literally, if Zack is the only single person on this planet that I can see tapping out Bryan Danielson. Only one I could see tapping out Danielson, but I don't think he's going to lose anyway. But back to Christian and Darby.
Now, they could do if Darby wins, Darby and Edge or Adam Copeland versus Christian and Luchasaurus, where that's the turn? Possibly?
They could do that. They could do... I could also see them doing an angle where Edge feels burned by Christian not coming back with him to WWE, and a space where they could be like he could be telling Luchasaurus, "Hey, this guy's taking advantage of you," or like, "What has become of my friend?" Because it's a fucked up thing to think about it, but Edge never knew his father. That's a thing they can explore. That is a very real thing. Edge grew up with a single mom. He didn't know his father. That is right there. It's right there.
Oh my God.
They don't have to do it now. They could do it later, but it's there. But you have to think about this too. If Edge comes in, Edge has never been outside of WWE. Yeah, sure, he did jobs in WCW, but he's been a WWE lifer for his life. He's never had more fresh matchups than he does now. He has an entire roster of fresh matchups.
True.
So are they just going to go right back to him and Christian? That's what I'm thinking. I think they'd rather do him and Darby before they do him and Christian. But I could see them going either way. And I would love to see him and Christian because this is a new Christian Cage.
I could also see Christian winning and then this leading to a coffin match.
Yeah, but we already had that. We already had one at Wembley. I don't think they need to go there again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. See, dude, my brain's fried. I completely forgot about that.
I think maybe a lights out type of match would be more suited for that.
God damn it. I'm losing the predictions title tonight. I just
But
know.
yeah, so you have who?
I will take Christian, and to get back to the other one,
Zach has Christian as well, by the way.
fuck it, make it a clean sweep on Christian. Hangman Swerve, oh, God. I will go Swerve because I don't necessarily see them going Hangman and then Swerve twice for Swerve to win the feud. Because when have they ever done that?
What?
They probably
Like 50-50 booking?
Well, no, not 50-50 booking. Just having the heel win the feud but lose the first match. I'm like my brain. I would have to
See,
legitimately
they should
look
do
this
that.
up.
They should do that. Like I remember the reverse of that happening in WWE. It was like AJ won the first match and then Cena won the two other matches, I believe, during their feud. That's the one I always think
Or
about.
I could also see them doing a Malachi and Cody thing where the heel goes over the first two times and the face goes over in the end.
They could do that.
Screw it, Swerve.
I could see Swerve like even in that match, like they have like they like say if they have like a Texas death match, Swerve doesn't have to lose convincingly. He could lose by while being protected, where he gets like fucking knocked out or choked out, or it takes 10 guys to put him down, or like it takes like a bunch of like weapons to make him stay down. So they're good at protecting their guys when it comes to that stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, they have done a pretty good job of that. So
That's
was the only one that I was different on Aussie Open and FTR.
I didn't know. I didn't jot this down.
I mean, I jotted down my picks.
I have my predictions in my brain, so we'll see when it comes to the post show. But
Okay.
we'll see you for the WrestleDream post show. There's also one thing I wanted to mention here. I don't know if she's cleared yet, if she's out of her walking boot that she was out of Wembley, but I could possibly see the debut of Mercedes Moné tonight to stare down with Chris Statlander or Saraya if she has a segment or something like that. But because there's a New Japan influence on this show, and she's obviously was working for New Japan. But if not, I could see that somewhere else. Depending on if she's clear or not.
I would save her for Saraya.
Yeah, because I don't think
Just
she
because
should be.
I feel like she should be in the main title picture right off the bat.
Yeah,
Because she would be like the biggest face imaginable.
yeah, one of the biggest faces in the company, men or women. So yeah. But anyway, that's WrestleDream.
Yeah, and I also don't see Saraya's reign lasting that
Yeah,
long. So
that's WrestleDream Pre Show. Join us for the post show. Whenever the show ends. We'll see when it ends. We don't know what the time is. It might end. We don't know when it ends.
I always forget going into a pay-per-view that the 11 o'clock hard cutoff is no longer a thing unless otherwise mentioned. It's going to be a long night.
But anyway, salutations. Enjoy the show, and stay black. I don't know. See ya.
What the?
Got no choice.